Let's just dive right into this explainer, shall we? Today, we are uncovering the invisible magic that literally powers our entire connected world. If you've ever just stopped and marveled at how your phone can instantly connect you to someone across the globe, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to explore the absolutely fascinating science of electromagnetic waves.
So, I want you to ask yourself an incredibly basic, but totally mind-boggling question. How exactly does a text message travel through thin air? I mean, really think about it. You type a quick message to your parents or a friend, you hit send, and boom, almost instantly their phone buzzes. There are absolutely no physical wires attaching your phone to theirs. It feels like magic, right? Well, actually, it's just brilliant science.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll meet these invisible messengers, then break down the science of modulation and look at EM waves in our daily lives. After that, we'll shift gears a bit to talk about carrying truth and clarity, and finally wrap up with an educational philosophy rooted in morality.
All right, part 1. Meet the invisible messengers, the hidden power behind your devices. Scientifically, we call these unseen carriers of information electromagnetic, or EM, waves. And they are the unseen backbone of our modern society.
Just think about all the things we do every single day without a second thought. We FaceTime our friends, stream high-def videos, rely heavily on GPS when we're lost, and most crucially, we count on being able to call 911 in a life-or-death emergency. If EM waves weren't out there carrying information over massive distances in a fraction of a second, literally none of this would be possible. Our modern world would just grind to a total halt.
But here's what's truly fascinating. Unlike sound waves, which absolutely need a medium like air or water to travel through, EM waves can travel through the total vacuum of space. No air required. That's a massive distinction. And it's exactly the property that makes things like wireless satellite communication and deep space exploration an actual reality.
Moving on to part 2, the science of modulation, how the invisible becomes understandable. Because it's one thing to know that these waves exist, but how do we actually attach our favorite Netflix shows or our text messages onto them?
That's where modulation comes in. Modulation is basically the process of changing specific aspects of a wave, like its frequency or its amplitude, in order to encode information. Think of the EM wave as an empty delivery truck just cruising down the highway. Modulation is the act of meticulously loading your specific cargo, your text message, your voice, your data, right into that truck so it can be successfully delivered. The whole communication process boils down to 3 beautifully simple steps. First, you code the information. That's the modulation we just talked about. Second, you transmit that coded wave, sending it out through the air or space, usually using specific parts of the EM spectrum, like radio and microwave bands. And finally, you receive it. An antenna or a sensor catches that wave and decodes it back into a readable text, a voice, or a video on the other end.
Part 3. EM waves in daily life. The tech you use every day. Now that we've got the science down, let's step out of the textbook for a second. Because you're probably interacting with multiple sources of this technology right at this very second.
For example, your cell phone is constantly connecting to local cell towers, transmitting your voice and data using radio and microwave frequencies. Your Wi-Fi router? It does something very similar, using EM waves to beam the internet straight to your laptop without a single wire. And your GPS system relies on a massive network of satellites orbiting the Earth, constantly firing signals down through the atmosphere to pinpoint your exact location. It's essentially a giant symphony of invisible communication happening all around us.
And understanding all this science doesn't just make you a smarter user of technology, it literally throws open the doors to some amazing future career paths. Whether you want to work directly in tech, become a journalist broadcasting news across the globe, coordinate complex emergency services, or even work in space communications, you are absolutely going to rely on a fundamental understanding of electromagnetic waves. All right, part 4, carrying truth and clarity. We've covered the how of communication. Now let's shift gears and look at the what and the why, which brings us the moral connection to communication.
There's a really powerful verse from Scripture I want to share with you here. Luke 16:31 says, "People will not be persuaded even if someone rises from the dead." That really hits on a universal, age-old truth about humanity, right? Communicating clearly and truthfully is incredibly difficult. Even with the most miraculous, obvious evidence staring someone right in the face, the message can still be completely ignored if it's not received with an open heart and mind. Good communication truly matters.
And this is exactly where the science and the moral imperative collide. On the one hand, EM waves are perfectly designed to carry encoded information across enormous distances. But on the other hand, We, as communicators, have a deep duty to carry truth and clarity in everything we say. Because, honestly, what good is a perfectly modulated radio wave if the message it's carrying is false or even harmful? Which brings us to our final section, Education Rooted in Morality, looking at the heroesmartacademy philosophy. This deep connection between knowledge and ethics is the absolute foundation of what it means to be a truly grounded learner.
The core philosophy here is pretty profound. Education without morality will hurt. This approach intertwines biblical morality with education. And why? Because raw intelligence, scientific capability, and technological power just aren't enough on their own. Without a moral compass to guide how we actually use what we learn, our knowledge can very easily become destructive instead of constructive.
So here's a serious question for you to ponder. What is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if we just keep making bad choices that hurt ourselves and the people around us? You could literally know everything there is to know about frequencies, amplitudes, and the entire electromagnetic spectrum. You could build the absolute best cell phone in the world. But if you use that phone to spread deceit, to tear other people down, or to make choices that damage your community, well then your education has kind of failed you. But there's a better way, and a promise that comes right along with it. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. When we actually align our incredibly powerful scientific understanding with a grounded spiritual mindset, the result isn't just cooler technology, it's genuine peace of mind. That is the ultimate goal, and it's exactly what happens when you engage deeply with this kind of holistic learning. So, we've covered the incredible journey of EM waves and the profound responsibility we have as grounded learners. And I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take with you today. Knowing the immense, world-changing power of these invisible messengers that you hold right in your pocket, how will you use them to carry truth today? Thank you so much for exploring this with me. Keep learning, keep questioning, and definitely keep communicating with clarity.